So before starting our drafts out, we done some audience research just to see what the audience would like to see. So from the audience feedback, I learned that if we were making a narrative, make it believable, as the best way to attract the audience, as the audience we asked preferred relatable narratives instead of far-fetched ones. Secondly, having something memorable, so it could be like a lyric, a dance, or even a scene from the narrative. Uh, just because over time they'll be able to remember it easier. So, like for example, it's like a dance, they'll be able to remember it easily. And thirdly, which is most common when asking everyone, it was to be unique, and it can be done through the costume, or the narrative, and the reason for this is having something too cliche could bore the audience, even as they've most likely seen the video before or something similar. So now moving on from the first draft to the second draft, the biggest difference after the audience feedback with the video was that not many people liked the narrative and the artist's image. Quite frankly, I believe because uh, we thought we can get more done for the narrative, as it was a really over complicated idea, as he was meant to be getting up for work, a job interview, everything was going wrong, such as like his car wouldn't start and everything, and it just took it was too time consuming. So our draft was really just bass tracks, and the artist's image wasn't really appealing. Like there was nothing that stood out about him. So we took all this into consideration, and we decided to change our idea up. So we changed the song from George Ezra's "Blame It on Me" to Jack Garrett's "Worry." We changed the artist's image to a more urban look, and we changed the narrative and made it more realistic, as in through depression and stuff. So basically, we're starting from scratch. So just starting from step one all over again. From draft 2 to 3, we added the opening from Black and how it opens up to the video. We put this in because watching music videos, some of them had that, and we found the transition looking pretty nice. So we implemented it into ours. The scene of the artist pouring shots in the narrative, it looked more of like a party than depression, because he was pouring 3 shots just next to each other, and usually you see that at parties, not when someone's depressed. So that's why we removed the scene and just changed it up. We had a lack of bass tracks, which was clear in the video, as the audience got bored pretty quickly, and because they got bored of seeing the same bass track over and over. In the George Ezra video, we had the same problem. We kept cutting back and forth from bass track to bass track, and the audience just lost their attention. They just didn't like it at all. So we added more bass tracks just to give a variety of locations, more on the artist's image, and allowed a variety of shots. The bar scene, one of the angles was out of focus when it was to his left, because the angle was just really off and the focus was off, and we decided just to scrap that and just put the bass track in of when he is sitting in the black and the lights just focus on him. With the gang, there wasn't much focus on them in the second draft when it led up to the fight scene. So after the audience feedback, we decided after the audience feedback, it was to involve them more to show they have a relevance. So we decided to put close-ups of them just to indicate they have a relevance to the scene coming up. And when the artist was drowning himself, he's out of the shot due to the angle. It was more on the side, so the bath kind of blocked the view of him. So we decided to go to the high angle shot just to keep the frame on him at all times when he's going underwater. From the third draft to the fourth draft, so the opening scene of draft 3 looked very orangey, and it was due to the lighting. So we decided to refilm the scene just to make sure the lighting was clear enough, and it wasn't really orangey, it's more natural lighting. We added the Vivo logo in the bottom corner just to make it believable, as in when you watch music videos, be on MTV or on Vivo online, you see the logo, like the MTV logo in the corner or the Vivo logo. We added this in to make it believable that it is a music video and it's not just a random video. With the argument flashbacks, we used more types of shots. So we like more over the shoulder shots, shot reverse shots, close ups, etc. And we speed ramp them to slow it down to show the anger in the characters and the anger when they slam the doors and stuff. We felt with the narrative there wasn't much either, as in we had just the argument, the bar scene, and the fight, and we felt we need to focus a bit more on. We need to expand it a bit more to make it more believable of why the artist is going through what he's going through. So we added him walking out in frustration, which is a reaction of the argument, and then during the bar scene, instead of having the same flashback to the argument, we added the flashback of where he sees his girlfriend in public holding another person's hand, and from there on, we get close up of him. He's frustrated and he walks back home and then starts to drink more, which is a reaction of his anger. So he's just trying to drink away his anger. We removed the bass track of Way sitting on the wall to where he's wearing the grey jumper. We've done this because the sitting on the wall bass track, like your eyes are more attracted to the background, like the offices and everything, not the artist as much. So with the new bass track, you could focus more on the artist. We also removed the scene where he's walking down down the road, as the camera shot was really shaky and it wasn't steady enough. So we thought just to get rid of it and just use a still and focused shot. And after the audience feedback, we realised that the close-ups were really confusing, and we changed the shot up of just all three of them together to show that they're in a group. And we also had we put a black and white filter over it, because in the previous draft it was in colour, so it was confusing, like was it a flashback or wasn't it. And we just put the filter over just to back up the point that it's a flashback, and the audience, just to not confuse the audience as much. And when the artist drowned himself, we changed the tempo as so it matches the beat, because in the third draft the flashbacks came in and out all over the place and it just didn't look right. So we changed that to make it more smooth. And from the fourth draft to the final piece, the first flashbacks all came in at different times, as in some came in quicker than others and they came out quicker than others. So we made sure they were all even times in and out. And one of the bass tracks was in colour, no, not in colour, in black and white. So we had to revert the changes to make it into colour again. And we also upped the contrast on some bass tracks just to make it more sharper. And that is what audience feedback got us to do.